Hello, my name is Dan McDuff, and this is my in-depth analysis of the opening sequence to Guardians of the Galaxy, the scene where we see Star-Lord dancing around on the planet. So we start off with the mise-en-scène. The first shot is of a planet, immediate indication that this is a space film. The next shot is of a dark, rocky, seemingly volcanic surface of the planet, which suggests that the film is going to be mysterious, destructive, and have dark themes, maybe? In the same shot, we see a spaceship going to land on the planet's surface. This is a convention of space sci-fi films, and also gives an immediate indication that this is a space film once again. The fact that the first thing we're shown is a character's own ship connotes this is going to be one of the film's major characters. There is a dust and smoke all over the frame throughout the next few shots. This suggests that it's a dangerous and unpleasant place to be. It's also storming. This suggests that the opening sequence is going to be based around ominous events. We are then shown a shot through some rocks, a character walking through the smoke, with a black outline and wearing a metal mask with red eyes. Black and red are the colours of evil, and therefore the audience is made to believe that the character they are seeing is the antagonist of the film. The character pulls out a hologram-like scanning device, once again suggesting the film is sci-fi, which allows the audience to know exactly what sort of film they're about to watch. There's a lot of references to being sci-fi. The audience knows exactly what they're getting into. But yeah, it also suggests that the character's searching for something if it's a scanning device. And there's a lot of confusing shots of hologram people. This shows confusion to the audience, as there is clearly some backstory to this film that we are yet to know about, and as films go, we'll probably only find out about it towards the end of the film. We then see a large old crumbling structure, and this hints even more towards the backstory and mystery of the film. It also makes sense that what the character was looking for may be a lost artifact. So the structure, which looks like it is to be of great importance, would be a viable candidate for the location of the object. We then see a shot of a hologram of a child playing with their dog. This suggests that the backstory of this film is sad, as it involves innocent children. It fills the audience with a worry as to what might happen. It also fills the audience with sadness. The character then enters a large open room inside the structure. This fits the conventions of a film where the character is looking for something and adds evidence to the audience's suspicion. The character's face is then revealed from behind the mask. From the way he looks, there is a contrast with everything we've seen so far, and it's likely that the character is the protagonist. Suddenly, he starts putting on some old headphones and a Sony Walkman and starts dancing. This is in complete contrast to what we've seen so far, and therefore emphasises the comedic effect on the events that are taking place. And as I said with the Sony Walkman, this is product placement of a well-known brand and a very well-known product, and shows that this is a big-budget film. The character can also be seen dancing through puddles, kicking about small creatures, and using one as a microphone, and it shows how carefree he is in such a dangerous place, and this would suggest that he is a powerful character. There are more ominous signs all over the place, just a lot of, weird dusty stuff. All the trees are dead. It's a wasteland inside the structure. But yeah, you see characters skating on some mud on whatever they may have picked up inside the space. This kind of leads the audience to their own imagination as to what he could have picked up. And it continues to use the comedic versus ominous contrast to make this opening scene as humorous as possible. We then see a crevice full of dangerous alien animals. This is kind of the first major obstacle the character has run into. It shows that whatever he's looking for isn't supposed to be found easily. It makes the audience wonder exactly what it could be. He then uses jet boots, and that once again displays that this film is a sci-fi film, and that this character quite clearly likes all the technology he has to have a bit of fun whilst on the job. It also shows how easily he gets over this crevice and how little of a worry that these alien creatures were to him. We also see the pink and dark blue sky outside, and this reminds us that the character is on an alien planet and adds a contrast between the beauty of the sky and the darkness of the cave. So this opening sequence does have a lot of contrast in it. There are a large pair of doors that the character opens at the end of the sequence. Conventionally, these are the doors that will be opened right before the discovery of whatever the character is trying to find. The audience knows that something is about to be revealed to them. The last part of the opening sequence shows the character interacting with the object. This flows well into the main film and is a good way to end the sequence. Now we move on to cinematography. First we have an establishing shot of the planet, and that sets out the mood of the sequence for the audience by displaying what kind of area the sequence takes place in, which is obviously a horrible volcanic planet. The first 25 seconds use a lot of extreme wide shots looking down on the character. This displays the surrounding, makes the character seem mysterious, and makes the character appear vulnerable to the dangerous surroundings. When we get the first decent look of the character, which is when we first see the red highlights, the camera is shot from behind some rocks, almost as if it's trying to hide and protect itself from the character, suggesting that they could be dangerous. The character tends to be in the centre of shots. Despite the fact that there's so much interesting scenery and so much destruction around them, the camera is always facing directly at the character, This shows that they are an important figure and therefore is likely the main protagonist or the main antagonist. So the first close-up we get of the character, we have details of him wearing a mask that would appear to belong to the antagonist of a film due to the style of it. We then have a lot more wide shots and close-ups to show us that the character is observing the surroundings. We get a close-up of the scanner he's using to show the use of sci-fi technology, and the audience can look at the details of this futuristic equipment and feel like they're actually more part of this scene. The camera isn't completely static for a lot of the shots, but the first shot where it's particularly shaky is when we're shown the hologram of people walking around. This is used to convey confusion and wonder, which works in the sense that the movement represents a build-in excitement and interest from the camera. We get a bird's eye view shot, which gives us the best look at this hologram, due to obviously it being hologrammatic so you can see through it. So it gives us the best look at it, while also suggesting that the character is completely vulnerable to his surroundings. We then get an extreme wide shot, a huge structure, which is used as an establishing shot to indicate that the character is moving into a new area. The shot tilts up from the child and the dog, the holographic child and dog, onto the character. This shows that the character was focusing on the hologram, which leads the audience to believe that the character was somehow involved in this backstory. We then get one shot from in front of the character and then a shot from behind as a stylistic way of revealing the area the character has just entered. The character is also featured in the second shot to show the scale of where he's just entered and to show that this is his adventure. He's the one about to come and venture into there to find whatever he's trying to look for. We then get a close-up of the face reveal when he removes his mask to show us exactly what this character looks like and to show the audience his first emotions, which will give them presumptions of what the character is like. We then get a tracking close-up of the Sony Walkman as he moves it down to his belt. This makes it the focus of the shot, and this is not only obvious product placement, but it also suggests that the Walkman is going to be significant in some way in this film. We have lots of mid-shots of the character to show his dancing, as well as a lot of close-ups to show his face as he is enjoying the music. We get a tracking shot to show the alien creatures going to attack the character, only to get kicked out of the way. This is used for comedic effect, because it looks like they're going to, from where you first see them, they look like they're going to be quite a lot larger than the character, but then they end up being tiny and being kicked out of the way, and it works quite well. We then get a close-up of the character using a creature as a microphone, and this is also used for comedic effect, especially when you compare it to how ominous it was before, and then when you look at his face and the way he's singing into it, it just all adds to the comedy of this shot, or of this sequence. We get lots of motion shots, which contrast with the fairly static first shots, and these work with the music and the character's happy dancing. There's then a static shot where the character slides past that contrasts all the other shots in this part of the sequence, but it works well for comedic effect watching him zoom past the camera. We then get a high angle shot where the character is higher than the large alien creatures, and this makes this comedic character appear dominant over these creatures, which kind of shows that these creatures are kind of a breeze for this character, then really nothing for him to worry about. We then get a low angle shot of the character going to open the doors. This connotes that he's a powerful character and also suggests he's about to reach his goal. When we take a look at the editing, the words 26 years later indicate the events currently taking place are a long ahead of time of the sad backstory scene that was shown before the title sequence. Text appears as such to give information of the current planet, which is a common convention of space films and therefore manages to hit the target genre immediately in terms of editing. Especially also the way you look at the titles, the way they kind of pop into place and they kind of blink. They all just look very space filmy. The way the titles are edited in changes depending on the mood of the sequence. When the theme is dark and ominous, the titles just fade in and out. There isn't anything special about them. After the contrast, the titles fade in and have clearly been well edited to fade in the way they do. They kind of slide into place as well. Not really fade. They kind of slide in. It gives them more. It makes them more interesting and lively. It makes them a bit more animated. And this is just like the character that we now see compared to how we saw him before. Obviously, a lot of the sequence is CGI. This displays to the audience that the budget for the film is enormous. This is especially clear when you consider the CGI planets at the beginning of the sequence. It also makes the scene a lot more interesting than if the producers had decided to just find somewhere on Earth and film it there with actual creatures. It just makes it a lot more interesting. The audience will be a lot more interested in the film, they'll be a lot more involved in it, they'll want to be watching it more closely. The flawlessly edited holograms also display the CGI of the film and display the budget. Because the CGI is so good, it also serves as excellent immersion into this sci-fi universe. There's more impressive CGI when the character takes his mask off, and this could suggest that the entire mask was CGI all along, and that would suggest even more impressive editing and convey to the audience that this is a Hollywood film. During the ominous music, the cuts are rather slow, however with the song the cuts are quite fast. This shows that the production has been cut to fit the sound and that the two areas work together well. The titles are also edited to fit with the music, especially the film logo. This, once again, makes the film fit together well and feel like an extremely well polished production. Co-producer titles slide in behind the character as he slides along. The titles are integrated into the film and feel like they fit there more, making them more animated, and this makes the audience more inclined to read them. When you take a look at the sound, it starts off with an ominous track with stormy sounds underlaying it, suggesting that the sequence is going to have a dark theme and that it might be dangerous or tell a story about the main antagonist. Most diegetic sound is kept, including the sound of the storm. This allows the audience to experience the atmosphere of the scene and manage to hear every detail of what's going on. The most noticeable sounds are the booming geyser sounds. This portrays the planet as being dangerous. The footsteps are also hyperreal and rather audible. The detail of adding the footsteps conventionally suggests that this character is on his way somewhere and that he's an important character. It also shows the boosting of quieter sounds, suggesting that the character should be cautious and he should be listening out for any other quiet sounds. The use of sci-fi technology noises also fits the target genre, such as the glitches from when the helmet is taken off, anything like that. Once again, the sounds clearly belong in a sci-fi film. You're not going to mistake this for any other genre of film. The ominous music stops eventually, and all of a sudden, Come On Get Your Love is played by the Walkmen. The huge contrast between the two soundtracks boosts the humour that is displayed in the rest of the sequence. So that's been my opening sequence analysis on Guardians of the Galaxy.